Our culture is trained to hold less value for the young and weak. The way we treat our unborn is a perfect example. Babies in the womb are brutally murdered in the name of convenience. Another example we see in the interactions with the elderly, or rather, lack of interaction. All too often, I see an attitude of disrespect. They are seen as a drain and a burden on society. They are disregarded and forgotten. In the case of the unborn and the elderly, we see the same issue. They are not seen as our equals. They are not seen as human. This produces another issue with our culture, which I have seen in many forms, a lack of respect for its young children. There used to be a higher level of expectation for our young people. Culture has really dumbed down the stuff that we feed our toddlers and children on a regular basis through school, media, and so forth. They are micromanaged rather than discipled. Their beliefs about the world are fed to them through propaganda and biases rather than exposing truth and presenting facts. Babies and children are often talked about with an attitude of annoyance or disregard, a burden to bear or an irritation to be dealt with. Though they are human just like us, they are young and at times ill-behaved and therefore, in the eyes of society, are not seen as equals in dignity and moral worth. This is the premise for the issue I'd like to discuss with you today, an issue which may not seem to be something by which you're affected, and yet I believe it is prevalent in so many of our interactions that we don't even recognize it. We do not have a respect for the person and individuality of our toddlers and children. While they are a human being with thoughts, feelings, and emotions just like us, we still look down on them, and in our hearts we do not see them as their own person. This mindset quickly manifests itself through a patronizing attitude in our interactions. We baby talk and speak with dumbed-down vocabulary, regardless of their ability to understand so much more. We laugh at them when they mess up, assuming they don't know the difference. We talk about them in front of them, assuming they don't understand. This affects our parenting as well, because anytime their emotions rise to the surface, it often gets labeled as bad behavior without context. This is true sometimes even with our babies who are still too young to speak or communicate with words. That's wrong. These precious little ones are not less than a person because they are young. They should not be patronized simply because they lack experience or wisdom. In the Bible, we were shown the disciples when they rebuked those who brought the children and babies to Jesus. But Jesus said, "Let the little children come unto me and hinder them not, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these, and anyone who does not receive the kingdom of heaven like a little child will not enter." Then he blessed them. This is the value our God has on the youngest among us, despite the obvious disregard in their Hebrew culture due to age and stature. Similarly, it was we, the sick and weak, the sinners, who Christ came on earth to save. As parents, it's especially important we see these young ones as Christ sees them, for we hold a huge responsibility in His command to raise them up in the fear and admonition of Him. These children and toddlers are being trained to be the next generation of culture changers, be it for good or evil. We must parent our children with authority and discipline while giving respect to their young hearts, minds, and emotions. Children can handle responsibility. They are not as oblivious as we think, and they are certainly not stupid. They are sponges soaking up the world around them. When you talk down to them, when you laugh at them, when you talk negatively about them, I promise you, they get it. My 2-year and 9-month-old have much to learn. As their parent, I have much more to learn myself. We always will. But I refuse to constantly disregard their emotions. I will not patronize them. They are not inferior, and I refuse to see them as a person with less moral worth and less worthy of dignity than myself. Because if Christ's example was anything to go by, the respect I give my little ones is respect that is being given and trained to those who have the potential to change the world.